Hi, Andy. On Wednesdays, we wear pink. And I finally get to tell you that because it's a Wednesday. Yes. I have worn pink every single Wednesday this school year except for one, but I feel like I should get a pass on that because I still had pink hair at that point in time. After all of these years, I think Mean Girls is still my favorite movie. It's just so funny and, it's kind of become this ironic meme, but I think it's, unironically funny. I just love that movie. I think it's fantastic. I also really enjoyed your video yesterday. All of the fun things that we can do this summer, but also the stuff that we're doing in the meantime. My dad, when I was growing up, used to hate it when I would say, "Oh, I can't wait for fill in the blank." And he would say, "You are wasting your life by wishing away the time that you have right now." And I think I still need to, I think there's still good things in hoping and wishing and excitement for the future, but I think that my dad had a bit of a point and that maybe I should also be content where I'm at now, and I'm excited about that too. While you guys are staying at the conference grounds, my friend Maddie and I are going to go to a conference, and then I'm going down to Chicago with her to hopefully meet up with our friend Nate, who I've seen exactly one time since college graduation, and it's making me wonder if he still has a phone or whatever. Yeah. At this point, it's getting really hard to keep up with him, and I'm not sure that I'll be able to continue that friendship if he does not respond to any of my text messages. And then, also during spring break, my mom and I get to go on our annual trip to IKEA, which, to those of you guys who have an IKEA nearby, sounds like a super lame way to spend a day, but my mom and I make a day of it. We get in the car at 10 o'clock in the morning, we drive out, and we have lunch at IKEA, including the meatballs, which I really love, and then we spend the day, looking at all the fun showrooms, and then going through the bottom floor of IKEA and picking out some things. I would like to get an ottoman because I want a storage piece that looks nice and could provide extra seating because I have 4 chairs in my entire apartment and can hide all of that. I really like my yarn, but at some point enough is enough. Spring break is 3 full weeks of school and 2 days away. So, yay, I'm so excited. I also wanted to tell you about something that happened in my classroom today that just gives me these warm fuzzies, and it's a little bit of a humble brag because it's something really nice that a student said about me, but I still want to share it because it just made me feel so good. Actually, it was sort of a day for compliments for me, and I don't hear a lot of that from my middle school kids, so I don't know what's gotten into them, but it just kind of made me feel all warm and fuzzy. Today has just been a really good day, and in contrast to last week Wednesday, when everything just kind of went to hell in my classroom, it's been really good. So this morning during math, I was teaching a kid about the Pythagorean theorem, and literally all I had to do was the square root of 25, and he was pulling out his calculator, which is fine because, at this point in my life, in middle schoolers, I don't think they necessarily need to have their times tables memorized. I mean, yes, it's important to have your times tables memorized, but if you have a learning disability that really keeps you from it, I don't think that you should waste your entire life memorizing all of the times tables and not learning how to do other things like the Pythagorean theorem. So I just kind of skipped ahead to the Pythagorean theorem and gave him calculators. And so I had to do the square root of 25, and I was like, oh, the answer's 5. And he was like, "Miss Blaukamp, you're like the human calculator." I mean, that was really nice. And I was just like, oh, okay. But the big thing that gave me those warm fuzzies today, we were doing a mindfulness piece, and so there's this other teacher who comes into my room twice a week, and she is there to basically make relationships with students who have had a little bit of a rough time with self-awareness and mindfulness, and then also to do that with the entire class as well. And because you know what, everybody needs to learn a little bit of mindfulness, in my opinion. And so we were doing this deep breathing exercise, and you go in and out. And it was just really, really good for the kids to just kind of start building that skill of what good breathing feels like. And she said something along the lines of, this is something that you can do when you're angry or upset, because everybody gets angry or upset sometimes. And one of my students goes, "No, they don't." And she was like, "Oh, well, what do you mean? Everybody has those emotions." And this student looks at me and she goes, "Miss Blaukamp never gets angry." And I just kind of dissolved into a puddle of happiness because sometimes my students aren't the easiest kids to work with, but I really, really, really try to be patient with them, and apparently it's paying off. So I'm glad that the kids can see that, and that hopefully that helps identify a safe space for them. That's really what I'm trying to build. Good relationships in this safe space. So those were kind of my warm fuzzies for the day. My question for you for tomorrow, and I know we don't always do questions of the day, but here's one for you today. What was a warm fuzzy that just made you feel really good about yourself in the last week? I love you, Andy. And anybody else who wants to answer that question, comment down below. I will see you tomorrow. And that's actually going to be the last time that I say that because tomorrow is February 28th, which marks the end of Feber Frenzy. So this is my last video until next week, Monday. I'll miss you guys. Bye, Andy.